What's going on, everybody? Chad here, back with you with another video in the Fender build series. And what I'm working on here is the interior. First time I've ever built an interior using styrene or any of the other components, so things look kind of rough, but more right now in the building process and less of the refinement process. Um, So I'll just kind of show you what started with. Started with these really nice fender wells and floorboards from rcaddict. They basically, you can just see how beautiful they fit right over the shock towers for the Ascender. You just really can't get a better fit. So I highly recommend them. The other thing, though, is when you're using these, it kind of would be great if there was, I don't know, a 3D printed created interior to go with them, just because their shape and everything kind of makes you have to build around them as well as building around everything else. So a lot of the times, there's really not a whole lot of info unless you go on the Scale Builders Guild. But you know, from the videos I've seen, a lot of people build their fender wells and stuff like that into their interior. But the way that these fit and mount and everything, I basically was just going to go the opposite direction. So I got a few things from Dinky RC, a honcho kit, universal kit, um, some seats, and I've got, you know, some other scale items, you know, figure and stuff like that. So I started in the back, and I'm kind of working my way forward. Basically, what I did is, first off, if you're doing a kit and you're thinking about adding an interior, I would definitely recommend getting everything in your body position, everything great. Trim your body, don't paint it, leave it clear, so that way it's easier for you to visualize your lines, and you can even draw your lines on the outside on the overspray film of where you know, your measurements and everything like that have to be. Just makes things, I would think, a whole lot easier versus what I had to do, which basically was just kind of take some rough measurements off of the body, and then you can see that I just kind of built out um, layer by layer the pieces of the styrene until I got something that would fit appropriately, like that. And then basically, once I created a rough template, I went and moved to a thicker, better styrene. And you can see on this part here, I added in my bench seat from Dinky RC. So right now, if you look here, get this on, you know, I have a nice piece, nice platform and stuff going on. And then, you know, from there, it's just kind of figuring out where do you go next? How do you start building from here? I decided I had to figure out what was the right height and everything for the seats so that the driver and everything would fit appropriately. Um, and I ended up cutting the windows out of my body so I could see in there better because I had sprayed them with some tint, and it made it kind of difficult. So again, just kind of with the pieces of styrene and everything, I basically just made a rough fit of the interior. You know, wipe some accelerator off here. I basically just did a rough fit, you know, and just kind of pieced everything together and did my little measurements and everything to get everything about as close as I could with the battery on and such and everything like that. And I measured up and had figured that my seats needed to be about that high, and they kind of need to sit like right there. And then my driver, passengers, or whatever will kind of be about right there. And then, it's just kind of been working on a couple different things for the dash. If I can find it here. My workspace is quite the mess right now after dealing with this. There we go. Again, just kind of piecing things together. I had to add some styrene to extend the dash to fit. It's gonna kind of sit about right there. So everything's kind of coming together. There's just a lot of cleanup and refinement and everything else that needs to be done. But that's I don't know, just kind of been my process. I guess there's just no one right way. There's not a wrong way or a right way to go about it, I guess. It just, you have to just do what you've got to do. The floorboards here that I ended up getting pretty much just become splash guards, which I already have rock sliders down here anyway that are solid to keep stuff from getting up into the motor area. But I've got, this big, nice, wide gap here, which doesn't look very realistic, but what can you do when you got to hide everything? That can put some shifters and stuff like that, and I don't know, beer cooler, something like that. The main thing is just try to build this thing up for 3D and to get as many scale points as possible. I'm sure I'll get better as the years progress and everything like that. So this isn't too bad for my first one, I don't think. But it's kind of where I'm at. Just trying to figure out where I'm going to go from here as far as refinement, painting. I got some cheap felt stuff, so do I want to, cover with felt to make it look like a carpeted look and hide the seams and everything a lot better? Or do I want to work on the seams a little bit and then use a textured paint and then go ahead and go over it with I really like the color of these seats, this tan. It's kind of hard to pick it up with all the light and everything like that, but it's kind of a darker tan. It really looks period to me. Anybody who does any models or doesn't do any models, Vallejo Model Air is probably one of the best paints that there are to spray. This is a khaki brown color, which I think comes in like a World War II tank color kit or something like that. So that's pretty much where I'm at on building that. I'm gonna, like I said, you got any suggestions for me, let me know. I'm gonna probably just go ahead and work on refining these anyway. I don't want to really cut. I'm going to leave these the way they are. I'm going to have some supports underneath here to hold the driver and everything. I don't want to really add more weight by cutting, even though it will only be a little bit of ounces and stuff, but I don't want to add more weight with thicker card stock, and this is already built and it's going to be pretty solid, and you can hide a lot of the errors, I guess is what I'm trying to say, by using different things, Bondo, sanding, and everything like that, or just using the carpet thing. One other cool thing that I found was kind of like this mesh stuff. So I think I'm going to make like some floor mats, or maybe put this back in the back cargo area back here instead of doing I got some diamond plate styrene I was planning on putting back there and spraying, but I think I'll probably use that rubber mat. I kind of like that a lot better. And again, it'll help hide, where your seams and stuff like that are a little bit better. So I don't know, guys. That's kind of where I'm at. If you got any suggestions at all or anything, let me know. I'm going to keep pressing on, and we'll take some pictures and put them up on some forums and stuff and see what people have to say. And we'll check you later.